Okay, this is going to be a demonstration of how to create different landscape features for your particular farm or landscape. First of all, I'm just going to open up a demo file. Now there's different ways in which you can add features to your feast project. You can either do it within the land and feature manager, or you can do it within the mapping interface. I'm going to show you both of those quite quickly. But hopefully it'll give you an idea of how it's done. So first of all, I'm just going to do the one with the land and feature manager. So first of all, we can come up here and we maybe want to add a new feature. It automatically creates a new group for that feature, and we can give that feature a name. So the data you enter is all down in the middle here. So we're going to create a woodland in this case. So I'm going to call it wood number 1. And it's an existing feature. And it's a woodland. So there we go. Once you select the woodland, it will then ask for sizes and areas and things. So we might say it's 2 hectares, and then we can select various different woodland types. So on. You can either then manually save it using Control S, the save button, or the save button here. You can also, if you want, switch on an auto save function, but just bear in mind that will save the data each time you make a change, so it can be a bit slow. So if you prefer just to save after each change, that's fine. When you make changes, you'll see that any metrics that you've got selected will be recalculated and displayed here, either using the icons or the data here. So it's as simple as that. You can then maybe, if you want to rename the group, you can just say, well, that's woodland. And then you may say, actually, you want another group, and that will be our arable land. And then we might add a new feature in there, which will be, say, field 1, again, whether it's existing. In this case it's arable land, and then we can again enter areas, species being grown. Let's say it's enter the details as you see fit, and again save. So it's as simple as that in terms of just creating new features, grouping them how you want, and then entering the data. Now the alternative way of doing it is to work within a mapping environment. So if we go into the map editor, now I hasten to add this is probably for the more advanced user, but we're trying to make it as easy as possible for anybody to use. So we're going to create a map to start with. And before you can do any sort of editing on the map, you have to create a map layer. So I'm going to do that here. I'm going to add a new layer. So we'll call this Demo 7 as a layer. So we've created that. It's added the map layer. If you want to find a particular location, you can use the find button here. So if we say, I can put in a UK postcode in this case. So if I say AL10, that's where the university is. Here's the university, we've zoomed into it. I'm going to pick an area just to the west here. Now in this instance, we haven't got any features on the map. We already created 2 features. So what we might say is actually I want to maybe add that block of woodland. That's our block of woodland there. So in this case you then have to edit the map. So you switch on the edit mode. You then say I want to add a polygon. You click there. And then you come down the list here. So in this case we want to add a block of woodland, and then you simply draw the shape on the woodland where it is. When you're done, you can click on here to save the edits. Now what it then says, it's popped up something here which it knows you've got existing edits there, existing features. In this case I'm going to link those 2 together. That's fine. Now we've linked the data to that area of woodland there. Then when we click on the woodland here, it'll bring up the feature data that we entered previously, and it's also adjusted the area because we've actually defined the area in this case, so it was bigger than the 2 hectares I thought it was. So we've added that on there, and similarly we might do the same for our arable land. So let's say we're then going to add a block of arable land. So we've got our different features down here, so we can say that's arable land, and we'll draw that on there. You can adjust the shapes. I'm doing it very quickly here using the map editor, but you can just quickly draw them up, as you can see here. And again, save that. That's field 1. Link it. Done. Again, it will recalculate, and this time, again, it's worked out the areas again a bit better than I did. And you can, of course, just edit the data in here as well. So if you've got actually a different crop in there, so let's say it's probably wheat, we'll do that, and it will save the data automatically. In this environment, you don't get an option to manually save, it just saves it automatically. There's no auto save feature. So as simple as that really, and then you can continue to add features in here even if you haven't already created them. So if we come into here and we can say maybe on our options, or we could switch that off, automatically get areas for new shapes. I won't in this instance, but we want to say put on another feature. In this case maybe actually we'll cancel that, do that slightly differently. We'll switch on. In this case, if it's a linear feature, rather than draw an area, you can just use a simple line. So you can go, actually, well, we'll put a line on, and in this case it's going to be a hedgerow. And so we simply plot the line as it is on the map here down to there, and we'll save that. Now as it's a line, it wants to know the width, so let's say it's about 4 meters. In this case, there are no more features to add, so we want to add a new one. So in this case, hedgerows, and so we'll add that, and we'll name hedgerows 1, and we'll link that to there, and then we're done. And there we go. It's added that new hedgerow there on the map. And then if we actually select that hedgerow, it's put in the details there. If you want to rename it, you can do, it's not a problem. And then you might want to add in some of the other details here as well. So what's the ground cover like at the base? What tree species is it? Its age, and so on. And while you're doing that, it's calculating those impact categories again that we've already selected, so you can see that there as well, just as you can in the Land and Feature Manager. So that's how you do it within the mapping interface, and as I said, you can just carry on add in more features if you like. So if you wanted to add in another bit of hedgerow there, you can do. So let's link that up there. Let's say that's a bit wider, and we'll add that to it's going into new group 1. We'll put it into that still. There we go. So we've created our hedgerow, and that's about it really. I'll leave that there. That's pretty much showing you how to create land and features in both the Land and Feature Manager and the mapping interface. Thank you for your time.